Hey, it's your friend Choice CJ here, and here's my Week 8 battle of the UBC versus ZAMCRO, coach of the Blackmont Raikougars. I do have a whole team builder video for this battle, so I recommend you guys go watch it, but in case you missed it, I am bringing a Trick Room Bronzong with Stealth Rock, Gyro Ball, and Explosion. I have a Quiet Nature Nidoking with Life Orb. I have an Assault Vest Tyrantrum. Very good counter to Zapdos, Victini, and Swellow. I have a Life Orb Greninja. I have a mixed defensive Entei with Rest Hawk to take on Victini and can sponge at least one hit from Gardevoir, which is nice. And then I have a cool set on the Mew. I have a Keyberry Calm Mind set with Shadow Ball and Aura Sphere. Now he has brought Mamoswine, Zapdos, Victini, Gardevoir, Gyarados, and Scrafty. Now, of the 6 mons that I see here, 5 of them did come to the mock battle that I had. I want to give a shout out to Professor Chip for helping me out with a mock battle. And in that mock battle, I realized how big of a threat Scrafty is to my team. I didn't really make any changes between the mock battle and here, just because the only real change that I could think of was putting Dazzling Gleam on Mew instead of instead of Aura Sphere. But it just didn't seem worth it. But in any case, he did also bring Mamoswine, Victini, Zapdos, and Gyarados to the mock battle. And I was able to deal with them all relatively well. The only thing that didn't come to the mock was the Gardevoir. And I think I can deal with that. I can check it offensively with the Greninja. I guess that's really the only thing I have for it, which is kind of scary. But I digress. That just kind of shows you how important Greninja is in this match. Greninja can OHKO virtually everything on the team. It can't OHKO Zapdos, I suppose. It does 60% minimum to a max HP Zapdos with Ice Beam. So with 2 rock switch-ins, I can take it out. And then Scrafty, again, is just a really big threat. I don't have a great answer for that on my Greninja or anywhere else on my team. But my strategy going into this game was going to be to lead off with Bronzong to get up rocks as soon as possible, because he has a Zapdos and Victini and a Gyarados that are all weak to rocks. And it'd be nice to wear those things down with time. And then I was going to go for the Trick Room immediately after that. In retrospect, I should have identified that with the Scrafty being there, I probably should have reconsidered that strategy. But I digress. Let's just go up on into this battle, and we will observe on the first turn that he leads with the Scrafty. So again, the Scrafty really screws up my team, and he is going to go for a knockoff on the first time, as you're about to see, as we do get up our rocks. As I mentioned, that was a very big priority. And now I am going to go for the Trick Room. Now, I guess there's 2 options here. The fact that the Scrafty did 35% on the first turn with the knockoff made me think that he might be a fully offensive. So I'm thinking, okay, my Nidoking doesn't outspeed a 0-speed Scrafty, so it doesn't outslow a 0-speed Scrafty, hence it would outspeed under Trick Room. But he might have some speed investment, so my Nidoking might be good. So I should just go ahead and click Trick Room anyway, and then start getting off some damage on this team. And I know that if I Trick Room, I can get off a Boom anyway, because I was able to survive this crunch. And so that's kind of what my thought process was with going for Trick Room, even though the Scrafty was a big threat. So I do go for that. I do go for the Boom. I do 32%, and that reveals that he has max HP investment, which is a big bummer. And yeah, I don't really have anything that can handle this right now. If he had been max speed, then Nidoking can come in and revenge with Sludge Wave, because it does 70% minimum to a max attack, max speed Scrafty. So I do go into the Nidoking because I don't want anything else to be taking a big hit. I guess I could have gone into Entei and that would have been fine. But he does knock off my Life Orb. I get off a Sludge Wave. It does 33%, which is nothing. Then he follows up with an Ice Punch and takes out my Nidoking. So basically the Scrafty just took out 2 of my Pokemon, one of my best wall breakers. Not that he brought many walls to this game, he just brought a lot of really offensive stuff. And then he brought a max HP Scrafty, as we can see. But yes, he was able to take out my Nidoking there. Entei might have been a nice play, but Entei, I wanted to preserve as much as possible for Victini. But anyway, since my Nidoking is gone now, I don't have any other choice but to go into the Entei. And I do go just for the Sacred Fire here, because nothing on his team really wants to take it. Victini could come in, but Victini doesn't do anything to Entei, and I do have the Stone Edge for that thing. Since Trick Room expires, we can now finally outspeed the Scrafty and take it out. So I'm not exactly happy with how I played those turns. And, you know, having my Entei take critical damage is really disappointing. But I still think we're in a position to win, potentially. It just depends on what mons he's brought. Having the rocks up is really nice, and getting his biggest threat out of the way early is definitely nice too. So he is going to go into the Gyarados here. And I don't have a switch in for this, and I don't want it to either set up a Dragon Dance or set up a substitute, because especially a Dragon Dance would be bad, because if he does that, then I don't have any way to really survive. Like a big hit, Tyrantrum can take either one Waterfall or one Ice Fang, but I, again, don't want my Tyrantrum getting weakened, especially since my Entei's already taken damage, because the Tyrantrum can now handle Victini and Zapdos. But, so I'm just going to stay in here and go for the Stone Edge as he goes for the sub. So this is really what I was worried about. And so I break the sub with the Stone Edge, which is nice. I'm going to click Stone Edge again, and it actually turns out that we Speed Tied, which is kind of funny. So if I had won the Speed Tie on the first turn, we could have potentially 2-hit KO'd the Gyarados, which is pretty cool. We didn't, so he was able to get off that Stone Edge. But I guess it wouldn't have mattered, because he would have taken 37%, and then he would have been like at around 40% HP, because he was at 75%. And then he could have gone for a substitute at that point, and then been at like 15% HP, or the 19% that we see now, basically, because of the turn of Leftovers recovery. But that's not that important. What is sort of important is this Waterfall crit. We actually would not have been killed by this Waterfall. I would have done like 58% maximum. And I don't think... Like, it matters somewhat, like, because now my Entei is dead, and I could have potentially won a Speed Time the next turn to kill the Gyarados. So that, in a sense, it mattered then, but he could have then brought in his Gardevoir, his Victini, basically whatever, and gotten a kill. As it plays, I can now just go into my Greninja and go for Ice Beam on this Gyarados. So I do get to Revenge Kill it, so that's nice. So, and I guess in a sense, I'll take back what I said. The Waterfall crit wasn't super important, because if the Entei had lived, it might have still died in the next turn of the next Waterfall if I lost the Speed Tie. And if it did win the Speed Tie, 1, I could have missed, and 2, he could just go into something to Revenge Kill my Entei, and then I would have to bring in either my Tyrantrum or my Greninja. And I'm basically back in the same position I am now. So, yeah, not too critically important. It just you know, makes me feel bad about myself, that's all. Which, in the grand scheme of things, doesn't matter. So that is going to go down, and he is going to go into his Victini, which definitely suggests to me that it's Scarfed, because unless it's Pasho Berry, it's not going to want to take a Hydro Pump from a Life Orb Greninja. But what are you going to do about that? He has a very easy U-turn here. He can go for the U-turn, and it can kill my Greninja, I'm pretty sure. I'm not 100% on that, but Greninja is not exactly bulky. And so my play is into Tyrantrum, because I don't want to, like, I don't want my Greninja going down, because my Greninja is my only way of revenging the Gardevoir. And the Mammo, for that matter. Although Mew can probably take it on. But I digress. Greninja's too valuable. Mew I could go into, but if he is going to U-turn, he's just going to go into his Gardevoir and go for 2 Hyper Voices. And he's going to be able to do damage to my Mew. I guess I could get off a Shadow Ball on the Gardevoir in that case, but that damage is not important when I have a Greninja with Gunk Shot. So yeah, I just go Tyrantrum in case he doesn't go for the U-turn. But of course he does, so very nice play, very good aggressive move, and he's going to go to the Gardevoir. Funnily enough, Tyrantrum has a chance to live this move, but it's definitely not worth it, because this is still my best check to 2 of his Pokemon. So I decide that what I need to do is sack the Mew. And as you can see, it does 58%. There's no way that even if I had gotten this in, like I guess if I had somehow gotten a free switch into the Mew, I could have gone for Calm Mind and then Roosted, because the first Hyper Voice only did less than 60. Then the second Hyper Voice would do only it would do 40. So it would have been really tough. I don't think that would have been that it wouldn't have been that solid of a play to let the Tyrantrum go down or let the Greninja go down and then start setting up with Mew. I don't think it would have been that solid. Especially because he still has a Victini in the back with potentially V-Create, and I haven't burned my Key Berry yet. Mamoswine, even if it's Adamant Life Orb, can only do like 50% with EQ. The Knockoff could do a little bit more. Knockoff, I guess, will do like 70% or so. But the only crappy thing about that is that my Key Berry wouldn't activate because he will have literally just knocked it off. So anyway, I'm rambling. There's still a chance that I can win if it's not actually Scarf Victini. So I'm going to go into the Greninja and go for Gunk Shot as he switches in his Mamoswine. Doesn't take it particularly. I guess the 19% is not that great. We do land a Poison, which is nice. But, you know, Hydro Pump is always killing here. He does get a Ice Shard off onto the Greninja for a little bit of chip. And we are going to kill that Mamoswine. He goes into the Zapdos here. So there's a few ways that we can potentially win here. Or I guess a few things have to happen in order for us to win here, I guess is what I mean to say. So if he does not go for the Volt Switch with the Zapdos, and we bring in Tyrantrum, Tyrantrum gets a kill. And then he brings in Gardevoir and revenges the Tyrantrum. My Greninja comes in and it can revenge the Gardevoir, and if the Victini is somehow not Scarfed, then we can kill that with Hydro Pump. So that's the way that we have to win here. The only way that I can see is if the Victini is not Scarfed. So none of this matters if he just clicks Volt Switch here. Volt Switch is going to kill the Greninja, obviously. And if I bring in Tyrantrum, it'll allow him to pivot into the Gardevoir. So let's see how this works. Does he go for T-Bolt or Volt Switch? He goes for T-Bolt. Okay, so phase 1 complete. Need to get a kill now. We need to not miss the Head Smash. And he goes for the Defog, gets rid of the Rocks, which is not so huge at this point in the game. So now phase 3 is he's going to kill the Tyrantrum with the Gardevoir. Now I need to not miss a Gunk Shot, which we do not. We're able to revenge the Gardevoir. And then, as I mentioned, it all comes down to this. Is the Victini going to be Scarfed, or is it going to not be? And, of course, it's Scarfed. Who are we kidding? Why would it be anything other than Scarf based on the way that he's played it? So that's going to be a very narrow 1-0 loss, which brings us to 5-3 on the season. It's going to elevate ZAMCRO up to a 6-2 record. So I've yet to get the best of ZAMCRO. I've only beaten him once, but he, I guess, has he's won the war over the long series of matches, meaning this match and then the best of 3 that we played for the NPL tryouts. So we have 4 more matches to go in this season. Next week we play Grim in the Munster Maractus, followed by Will in the San Antonio Sparse in week 10. Then we go up against Levine MA in the Boston Como O, and then the last week you go up against Moxie Boosted, aka Marcus, coach of the Chicago Flock. So none of those guys are going to be letting me take wins from them. They're all going to be very tough matches. They're going to bring their all. They're going to bring their A game. And we really need to win as many of those games as possible if we want to put ourselves into playoff position. Because I'm expecting that with this loss, we're going to be just on the outside of the playoff race. Because even though we'll probably be in a tie in terms of record with a lot of folks, we don't have the best differential because all of my victories have been like 1-0s. But I have a 5-0 and a 6-0 loss under my belt. Except for, luckily this is only a 1-0 loss, so that's not going to be hurting me that much. But anyway, the point still stands. Those are going to be really important matches for us to win. So hope we can make it happen. Hope you guys are enjoying all these matches. And hope you continue to watch as I jockey for a playoff game in the UBC. I am also jockeying for playoff position in the UPC. But that's not what we're here to talk about in this video. So that'll do it for me. Thank you guys for watching. Make sure you check back for more gaming and Pokemon content. And until the next time, I will see you all later.